The world must come together to confront climate change. There's little scientific dispute that if we do nothing, we will face more drought, famine and mass displacement that will fuel more conflict for decades. Wise words from former U.S. President Barack Obama. Climate change is happening every second of every minute, of every hour and every day, and it's something that affects us all whether we see it or not. It is Monday, and it's Jamaica Magazine, and we'll share with you a three-part series dissecting climate change in Jamaica and the Caribbean. I'm Adrian Atkinson. We'll be right back after this.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, January 23, 2023. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says that no effort will be spared in uncovering the full extent of alleged fraudulent activity at Stocks and Securities Limited, SSL. Mr. Holness adds that those involved will face the full brunt of the law. The Prime Minister made the commitment Friday following a debriefing session involving the Minister of Finance, the Commissioner of Police, the Attorney General's Department, and representatives of the Financial Services Commission and the Financial Investigations Division.
Having had the benefit of the brief, I can confidently say to the nation that all the relevant government entities are seized of the urgent nature of this matter, the great public concern, and the suffering of the victims. I am satisfied that the entities understand the implications and the potentially complex nature of this matter and the need for transparency, diligence, and prudence in all their operations.
Mr. Holness argued that given the potentially complex and litigious nature of the allegations, the state must ensure that every bit of information shared with the public is verified.
The government will ensure that the laws and systems in place work for the benefit of the general public good, accountability for those responsible, and justice for those negatively affected.
The Prime Minister meanwhile called on the public to be patient as the probe continues. He also urged citizens not to fuel panic through speculations and baseless assertions. According to Prime Minister Holness, there's no need to panic about the strength and soundness of the financial system. In addition to being the leading financial market within the region, Mr. Holness says significant reforms have been implemented over the last 2 decades to maintain the island's strong and vibrant financial system. The government is taking steps to modify the status of security guards providing services within the public sector, from independent contract workers to standard employees. Amendments to over 500 contracts with security firms will take effect on April 1 this year. It will bring the services in alignment with the Supreme Court's ruling last year establishing security guards as employees. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark made the disclosure during a press briefing on Thursday. Dr. Clark informed that a special task force will engage security firms contracted by the government over the next 100 days in the review process.
The amendments will not be limited to rates, however. They will also contain conditions of employment with the express requirement that security guards are recognized, are treated, are rewarded as employees in accordance with the laws of Jamaica. A breach of these terms with respect to any security guard working at any ministry, department, or agency will be grounds for termination of that contract.
The minister says the adjustments will also see changes in the costs for security guard services.
For these employer obligations to be honored going forward, and for security guards who are employees of these firms to benefit, the simple fact is that customers of security guard firms will have to pay more for security guard services, and there is no way around that.
Dr. Clark adds that bid documents used to procure security services must stipulate that guards be treated as employees. In other news, the state will be setting aside $415 million to repair 2 roads in southern Manchester. They are the roadway between Newport and Pusey Hill, as well as the Porus to Redbury roads. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Everald Warmington, provided the update during a recent tour of Manchester.
Looking at the French section here, I know we have to look at Bosu Lane, phase 2, to complete that one as such. Ebenezer Road needs some work, and that also I'm going to ask NWA to prepare an estimate for me. And Pews Hill, you have the road and breakaway, and you have one also in Victoria, breakaway. And St. Diego is a drain and road situation down there that the team in St. Elizabeth will prepare estimate for us, so we can try our best to initiate some repairs and rehabilitation in different sections of the constituency.
Mr. Warmington says almost $134 million has already been spent on road infrastructure projects in Manchester Southern. These include Pewsey Hill to Restore, Alligator Pond to Guts River, Porus and Bustle Lane, Downs to Alligator Pond, and Cross Keys to Cocoa Walk. A project aimed at protecting the coastal town of Anoto Bay, St. Mary, from storm surges is scheduled to begin in June. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement at the recent handover of the Port Maria Fire Station in the parish. He noted that the project will be another significant investment in the parish to include revetment and drainage work.
This new project will help to solve a part of the challenge, which will be the revetment works, which will protect it from storm surges and devastating wave actions. It will also, I'm sure, help with the drainage in the town.
The project will be facilitated under the Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project, which is being implemented by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund. It's part of a loan agreement with the World Bank and the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. The Northeast Regional Health Authority, NERA, is now better equipped to respond to emergencies in St. Anne, St. Mary, and Portland. That's thanks to the acquisition of 2 new ambulances and a panel van worth $33 million. One ambulance will be deployed to the St. Anne's Bay Hospital, another to the St. Mary Health Department, and the panel van to the Port Maria Hospital. NERA Director Fabia Lamb says the vehicles will increase the region's fleet, which serves 5 hospitals and 71 health centers.
2 2022 ambulances to increase our fleet of ambulances from 19 to 21, and 1 2023 panel van, increasing our total fleet to 60.
And finally, residents of 2 communities in northeast Manchester are now experiencing the benefits of access to free public Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi access points were recently installed in the districts of Craighead and Allison in Manchester by the Universal Service Fund, USF. Speaking at the launch in Allison, Chief Executive Officer of the USF, Daniel Dawes, implored citizens to protect the device.
Make sure the service is protected. It is for you and primarily for the children. It is meant for educational purposes, research purposes, business transaction.
Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for North East Manchester, Audley Shaw, welcomed the service for the residents.
I am hoping that one day we will be able to say that all districts, not just in North East Manchester, but all districts in Jamaica should have this service, because it can help in our education of our children. It can help in the more effective communication with our citizens.
19 Wi-Fi hotspots have so far been established in town centers across the island. Plans are also in place to have Wi-Fi installed in Christiana, St. Anne's Bay, Portmore, and Santa Cruz. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
The tinting of your windscreen, cut it out. Public passenger vehicles, according to the Transport Authority Act, not supposed to have tints. I'm appealing to motorists out there. We have removed many plates because of fandangles that are on the motor vehicle. colorful lights, red light, purple light, blue light, and these multicolored lights. Get them off. I've noticed some trends out there where there is different type of license plates on motor vehicles. Only the Jamaican issued driver's license plates are to be on the motor vehicles. Once you transport any passenger in a motor vehicle, ensure that they are buckled, whether they are on the front or they are on the back. The seatbelt gives people a fighting chance to survive the crash. Many people have died who never give themselves a fighting chance.
We have been able, to a large extent, to manage the process in a way that has led to many positives, including saving many lives.
Marshalling Jamaica through the COVID-19 pandemic and a return to normalcy was the single most significant achievement for the Ministry of Health and Wellness in 2022. But it was just the start. Machinery and policy upgrades to improve access to quality healthcare was a central focus in 2022. Contracts were signed with overseas and local private health institutions to perform elective surgeries for public sector patients under the Code Care program. The Compassionate Care program was launched at the Kingston Public Hospital.
It not only helps the patient, as important as they are, it helps the staff. It's a dual benefit.
The National Health Fund, Jamaica Cancer Society, Heart Foundation of Jamaica, and the Diabetes Association of Jamaica signed contracts to continue free screening for NCDs, while more conditions and treatments were added to the beneficiary list for holders of NHF and JADEP cards. And the Mandeville Regional Hospital became the newest certified baby-friendly hospital. Contracts were also signed and equipment handed over to a number of hospitals to improve diagnostic services. And cold chain equipment was received to support vaccination and routine immunization.
Our country, our people are better off today, both in terms of knowledge, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of some of the efforts that we have been attempting to make in the interest of public health.
The Chapelton Community Hospital was formally reopened after significant upgrading and expansion. Work continued on the Cornwall Regional Hospital and resumed on the new Western Children and Adolescent Hospital. The University Hospital of the West Indies Nuclear Medicine Division was re-established and retrofitted with state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment. A new care facility for HIV/AIDS was opened at the Kingston Public Hospital. And an international tender process was launched for the construction of new buildings at the Spanish Town Hospital. A number of health centers were renovated under the ministry's Adopt a Clinic program. The St. Anne's Bay Health Center was upgraded to be climate resilient. Contracts were also signed for renovation and expansion of the Malvern and Newmarket Health Centers in St. Elizabeth. And Cabinet approved a $5 million contract for implementation of the second stage of the electronic health record management system in 13 health facilities. With wellness as a mission, the ministry reignited the Jamaica Moves program in schools and communities. A new chat line was established to tackle mental health challenges among the youth, and a school mental health literacy program was launched. A pilot project to incorporate animals in healthcare interventions for pediatric patients was also introduced at the Bustamante Hospital for Children.
There's a policy directive from the government to make sure that we push healthy lifestyle. Bite by bite, we must take the steps to prevent ill health.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness in 2022, securing the health of the nation.
We want our children to understand the importance of physical activity. Based on our Jamaica Lifestyle Survey, 82% is in low-level activity, meaning we're just doing enough to survive. And only 16% is in moderate and 2% in high-level intensity. So we want to get more persons in moderate and vigorous activity. And so we want to encourage them to be more active so that they can get a lot of benefits increase academics performance, reduce stress, reduce weight loss, beautiful skin, help you to sleep better. We want it to be more active so that we can have a healthy mind and a healthy body.
I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and if your answer to any or all is yes, I want you to pay attention to the 3-part feature we have lined up for you. Question number 1. Are you taking care of your surroundings? 2. Are you proud to be Jamaican? And our final question is, do you want our little island to be around for generations to come? Well, for that to happen, we must take the steps necessary to combat climate change.
Jamaica is getting hotter. Globally, annual temperatures are rising, with the last few years being the hottest on record. Scientists call this never-before-seen warming of the Earth climate change. Some argue that humans play a major role in the changing climate. In this video series, you will hear about climate change in Jamaica, why it is happening, and how it is affecting our lives. Scientists say that today, the Earth's climate is changing much more quickly and getting hotter more rapidly because of global warming. According to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, global warming results from human activities that increase the amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. This means our everyday habits and the ways in which we live our lives are causing the Earth to warm up. Our cars, farms, factories and homes release carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. This contributes to the warming trend being observed in the climate system since 1950. Just imagine for a moment how heat from the sun gets trapped in a greenhouse. In a similar manner, greenhouse gases entering our atmosphere create a blanket around the Earth that traps heat coming from the sun. This blanket of gas reduces the amount of heat that escapes back into outer space, causing the Earth's surface to warm up. We call this the greenhouse effect. For example, the crippling traffic in Kingston does more than just annoy travelers. All of these cars release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. This is bad for our country. But what does climate change really mean for Jamaica and the Caribbean? Learn more in part 2 of this video.
We dive deeper now into climate issues with this next feature.
Researchers say that climate change trends for the Caribbean include increased temperatures, rising sea levels, stronger and more frequent storms and hurricanes, and unpredictable rainfall patterns. In Jamaica, many older persons will tell you that there was a time when they could easily predict the rainy season, and they would use that prediction to decide when to plant their crops. But this has changed. A warmer earth means an atmosphere with more energy and moisture. As in other parts of the world, these two factors result in more extreme Caribbean weather, such as floods, hurricanes, heat waves, and droughts. From 2013 to 2015, Jamaica underwent its worst drought in 50 years. Many people in the city didn't have water in their pipes. In rural areas, water in springs and streams dried up. Jamaica's eastern parishes got 90% less than their normal annual rainfall. Agricultural production fell by more than 30%. Losses due to crop failures and wildfires were estimated at $1 billion. Fast forward to 2017, and there were many incidents of flooding all over the country. The increased irregularity in rainfall that led to severe drought on one hand and extreme flooding on the other is a sign of a changing climate. Scientists have also documented a strong connection between the impacts of superstorms like Hurricanes Sandy and Maria and the human-caused global warming. In Helshaw, the fishing community can tell many stories of the sea now being in places where houses once stood. In Negril, the ocean is now much closer to the hotels than it was several years ago. So, climate change is real and it is changing how we live in Jamaica. In part 3 of this video, you will hear more about what we as Jamaicans can all do to help.
As we close off our exploration of climate resilience on the island, we find out how your direct action can safeguard Jamaica, land we love.
Adapting to climate change means taking actions that reduce its impact on humans and the environment. What we do around our homes, schools, work and communities can help to reduce negative climate impacts. Taking action to reduce these impacts is not as difficult as you may think. There are some actions which require lots of money or skills. However, there are other simple steps you can take. Install hurricane straps on roofs or build with slab roofs to reduce damage to homes, schools and other buildings during storms. Catch rainwater in drums for use in your garden or household. Install drip irrigation to conserve precious water on your family farm during periods of drought. Installing gabion baskets to prevent or reduce soil movement, especially during sudden heavy rainfalls after an extended dry period, is a good measure. Dispose of garbage properly so it does not end up in our drains and gullies. Blocked drains and gullies make it harder for water to flow during heavy rainfall. This results in flooding. Finally, use climate-smart building designs that allow buildings to remain cooler even as temperatures increase. Climate change mitigation can remove, reduce, or even prevent greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere. Plant more trees to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Use renewable energy sources such as wind and solar to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide that enters the atmosphere in the first place. These are good examples of climate change mitigation measures. Let's conserve energy. Switch off lights when not in use. Unplug appliances such as TVs and computers after use. Switch to energy-efficient appliances and light bulbs. Put energy-saving timers on your refrigerators. Saving energy will save you money in the long run, and reducing fossil fuel use will lower the amount of greenhouse gases that enter the atmosphere. If each Jamaican practices these actions, together we will help our country deal with the many damaging effects of climate change. Achieving the transformation our country needs will require households, community-based organizations, government, and the private sector working together to raise awareness for positive changes in behavior and policies to minimize the negative impacts of climate change. Do your part.
Living in Jamaica is an experience that you cannot put in words. There's an energy in the atmosphere that just feels good. There are so many aspects of Jamaica that I think makes it second to none. The best food, the best music, the best people. We can go on and on about the good things about living in Jamaica. There's a parish in Jamaica called Portland. I think that's one of my favorite places to be. It's one of the most nature-oriented parishes, and I love the nightlife in Kingston. Once you come here and you get that connection with the people, that connection with the food and the music and just the lifestyle is something that you'll always remember. people should visit Jamaica because I'm sure 100% that it is the place to be on planet Earth. You need to come here and you will get an experience that you will never forget.
Entertainment and culture is seasonal. You will work, you tour in the summer, and then in the winter, you don't get much work. Or you may have a song that gets good play, and you are in demand, and then years will pass after that, and then you get no work, or you get very little work. It's not constant employment. And so many of our practitioners are not able to plan and save in a sustainable way. They don't have a pension. They don't have any guaranteed income. Sometimes you may be a hit, and sometimes what you do, as we'd say, a miss. So it's important that we provide that base, that sustainable base for the sector, because they have contributed tremendously to brand Jamaica. They make Jamaica the brand that it is worldwide. And so I signed a contract with ECLA Jamaica Limited to start the process of establishing an insurance plan for entertainment sector, not just entertainers, but cultural practitioners. And this is a program that we wanted to introduce for some time. This is similar to the excellent program we have where we cover our sports personalities, those involved in the various disciplines of sports, where they have very good insurance coverage, life, health, and a number of other areas are covered, mental health. And so we have now signed this agreement to establish a similar program.
Enterprise will replace unemployment.
Several agencies receive international accreditation, successful trade missions executed, and new center established to improve opportunities for small businesses. Join us as we review the major accomplishments of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce on Tuesday, January 24, inside Jamaica Magazine.
We cannot do it alone. Let us all take the necessary steps to find solutions to the climate-related challenges we face. Remember, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Let's start today. And that's where we end today's show. Do join us again tomorrow for another informative program. Thanks for watching. And on behalf of all of us here at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. See you next time.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.